And I have to look back. This is your 10th DWI. It's not your 5th. It's not your 8th. It's the 10th. And while I understand the trauma that you went through, that you've been to SAFE 3 times. You've been given opportunities on probation where they were revoked. You've had opportunities while you were on parole to do what you have done now. And while I appreciate what you've done, and I think that's great, and my goal isn't to, to stop any improvement, but I can't, in my opinion, in good faith, go home tonight, look myself in the mirror and say I gave somebody on their 10th DWI, that your last sentence was for 15 years in prison. The one before that was for 10. The one before that, you've gone to another 10 year, back in 09. I mean, this goes back to the 90s. You got a 10-year sentence in 2011. While you're on parole for that one, you get another one, so they give you 15 years, and you get out and you're on parole and you do it again. And ma'am, are you Katherine Welch?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Ms. Welch is here with her attorney, Mr. Gertz. State's attorney is present. Ms. Welch was previously in court, entered a plea of guilty to driving while intoxicated, third or more, as well as a prior offense, which made it a second-degree felony offense. There was no agreement with regard to punishment. I have received the pre-sentence report, and has everyone had an opportunity to review that report?
We have, Judge.
I have, Your Honor.
Are there any additions or corrections to that report?
Okay, pause right here. Notice how the judge keeps circling back to the number 10 DWIs. That's not just drama legally. Repetition matters. Courts rely heavily on patterns because they show whether someone is a danger to the public. Question for you all watching: at what point do you think rehabilitation stops being enough and public safety comes first?
Not from the state, other than I want to acknowledge I have received Mr. Gertz's sentencing memorandum.
I'm going to get to that too in just a second. Any additions or corrections?
Aside from the one comment that I make in the sentencing memoranda about a comment that she made about rehabilitation, I think it's more of a clarification, so I'm happy to touch on that. But other than that, we don't have any additions or corrections.
Okay. And Ms. Smallfino has already stated, as well as I have received the sentencing memorandum at 5:47 p.m. yesterday. Going to point that out for the record.
The Harris County judge got her sentencing memoranda at midnight, so.
Well, it was reviewed quite early this morning, but I did review it. Ms. Smallfino, you've had time to review it as well?
Same, Your Honor.
This is interesting, no witnesses. In a sentencing hearing, that usually means the defense thinks the written report and rehabilitation. Evidence speak louder than live testimony, but it also removes emotional appeal from the courtroom. What do you think? Smart strategy or risky move?
Okay. Other than that, I think you all should have a couple, there's only a few, but there were some jail incident reports that should have been provided to counsel. Did you both receive those as well?
Yes, Judge.
I did.
Okay. Is everyone ready to proceed with sentencing then?
Yes, Judge.
Yes.
All right. Mr. Gertz, do you have witnesses?
I'm not going to call any live witnesses unless the court requires it. When we have a person present from the Dream Center, if the court wants to inquire about that, I would essentially let her come up and talk if you want to have that conversation. But
Okay.
I think, our focus here is going to be on the topics that we talked about or write about in the sentencing memo. And, just sort of allowing, if the court decides to do what we're asking you to do, we are open and welcome to whatever the court requires of her
Sure.
to enter and successfully complete. We just wanted you to have that option on the table as well. That
Okay.
it's an option that doesn't cost the court anything.
Right.
Or the state anything.
And for the record, I'm aware of the Dream Center and their program and what they do. And so if I have any specific questions, if we get to something where I would need that, then I appreciate them being here and I'll ask those questions. Ms. Malfino, does the state have any witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
All right, then argument.
Judge, I want to, I recognize this is a unique case and a unique ask that we're making here. This is not something small that we're asking for. I have sort of personally taken Katherine on over the last 3+ years, I guess almost 4 years, as a project for me, if that makes any sense. And what I mean by that is I really wanted to put to the test, could this person do everything that I asked her to do to at least get her an opportunity to be here in front of you asking what we're asking for. She exceeded my expectations by doing the 90-day inpatient rehabilitation. And while she was there, she started to explore with her counselors and her therapists there some of the underlying issues that went beyond just physical addiction, but actually had to do with her mental health and some of the things that she's experienced in her life. I'm not going to detail them on the record, but the court is aware of what those things are. Incredibly traumatic events that I think she had repressed and had never really addressed and explored. And so those counselors recommended not just aftercare, but a specific outpatient program to address some of the trauma issues that she's had. She went and checked into that program, stayed for basically a year, and again, did everything we asked her to do. When, I told her to go get her own drug patch, I told her to go get her own interlock device. She did all of that. Those records should be attached to the memo. She was successful, has been following the rules, doing everything we've asked her to do, had been going to AA, had gotten a counselor, actually reached out and befriended the director of the Dream Center to try to figure out what she can do next to sort of commit herself to her sobriety and to fixing the mental health issues that I think stem from the challenges that she faced as a young person. Sometimes it's easy to look at one side of the ledger, the rap sheet or the criminal history, and think that defines this person. What I have been fortunate enough to do is to really dig down and get to understand her as a human, and see that all the progress she's made, all the effort she's made, and see what she's done well and all of the problems that she's been addressing well. She's obviously very anxious about this day, but we've been looking forward to this day as well to be able to present that. And I want to go down on the bottom of page 2, address what I was talking about in the CSI. So that I'm not saying that this wasn't the words that came out of her mouth, but when she was asked by one of the examiners in the probation report, she felt she needed treatment. She said she didn't feel like she needed treatment. She wasn't opposed either. I want to clarify what we mean by that. And I say this here, but what she would say, I think, is she did 90 days of detox rehab related treatment, has continued aftercare, has continued mental health care.